Nicole Scott here from Mobile Geeks. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at a mid-range smartphone, the ZTE Blade S6 Plus. It's a 5.5-inch smartphone from ZTE that comes in at $300. Now, there is a lot going on in this mid-range space, so it actually takes a very decent handset in order to be competitive. Let's find out if ZTE's got what it takes to take on devices that are even $200 that have similar specifications. So why don't we start with some quick specifications. It's got a 5.5-inch 720p display that's IPS LCD. It runs a Qualcomm Snapdragon 615 with 2 gigabytes of RAM, and that's at 1.5 gigahertz processor, which is actually 64-bit. It comes with LTE on one of the SIM cards. It does offer dual SIM. The device, design-wise, looks unfinished. I mean, there's these large numbers here. They actually, if you can see that, there's a little bump there by the speaker. So usually what happens is there's a slight raised around the speaker so that when you have it flat on the table, the audio is still able to come out so you can hear it. But it's almost just like they were like, yeah, let's just ship it with this. We'll have these big numbers on the side here because they can have like nice subtle, imprinting, but they were just like, no, let's just do that. And the feeling of the case also supports the argument because it feels kind of slimy. And what color is that? Is that gray? Is it kind of green? Is it like a silver that they thought they should put other colors in? I mean, just overall, I just think that this entire area is basically wrong. Yeah, not a big fan of it. Now, it does come off. Let me just, woohoo. So let me just peel this off for you. Now, the battery is exchangeable, but it's not removable. We have 2 micro SIMs there, and we have a micro SD card slot there. So these are not the nano, but not full size. So it's a micro SIM. Now put this back on. The curved edges and the front. I mean, everything does look kind of like an iPhone. The single button that you can see, but there are 2 buttons here for back end menu. Now you can change those around in the settings. So now let's just take a closer look at the display. Let's go into these photos here, just so you can kind of get a sense of, I mean, for a 720p IPS display, it's actually pretty good. The blacks, let's go back to this one. The blacks are actually pretty black. It's nice. Well, let's give this a bit of a wipe down. That's one of the things. I just wiped it down, but yet it already kind of has like a gross film to it. So, yeah, the viewing angles aren't tragic. The visibility outside I actually found quite good. Now, the brightness, see, sometimes this just doesn't react as well. The brightness I found to be quite good. Now, I put it on auto, and I did find that it totally was absolutely fine. I mean, the thing that I thought was great about the display is that how low it went. So, because sometimes I like to use my phone at night, and I don't want it to be too bright when the lights are off. For a 720p panel, I think it looks quite good. Just check the viewing angle. It doesn't go white very quickly. Let's just take a look at how quickly the apps open up. I mean, it's okay-ish. Actually, it seems to be responding pretty nicely right now, but I have felt there has been several times when I have thought, that took a little bit too long. Actually, right now, in this moment, it seems to be doing okay. But in general, I have found it to be a little bit laggy, so I guess it is a little bit hit or miss. Now, in terms of software, one of the things that I have found a little bit irritating is just the straight amount of bloatware that is on here. Now, this family mode, not great. This, a live share, me pop. Okay, it's a back button on the screen. I'm not a big fan of it. Take that away. Now, there's other things in here, like the ZTE show. Now, these are all ones that I have downloaded. These are from me. But there's Clean Master. This app is totally spam to me. and the task manager is also not so great. All of these system cleanups. It's nice that they have included the remote. I am a big fan of using these at my house to replace my remote control. So let's just take a quick look at the settings. There's a couple things in here, but not that many. Usually these types of notification areas are packed with a lot more. So heading into the settings, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, SIM cards, only one of them will come with LTE. This way, back. Now display. I have been okay using the adaptive brightness. Now the breathe light is this thing. I had to change how often this came on. I found it kind of irritating. So the screen has the colorful effect, which makes it a little more vibrant. And cast screen, of course, is very helpful if you do share media to another space. Like I said, you can customize the buttons down here. Now, before we head into camera, the one thing that I do have to say about the software is that this is the default. So browser, gallery, chat, camera up here, clean master. This is how your home screen comes preloaded. Now, it's busy. This is also preloaded, busy. Now, there's two styles of UI. There's the app drawer, and then there's the no app drawer. ZTE's gone with the no app drawer. Now, I've gotten used to this kind of style, and people call it an iPhone S style, but I think there's two ways that you can do UI, app drawer, no app drawer. The one thing about this style that does get a little bit confusing is that sometimes when you're searching for an app, you don't remember where it is, and if you create too many folders, you can just lose things in an attempt to kind of clean up how your pages or your screens look. So now let's take a look at the camera. This is a 13 megapixel shooter. It comes with very basic settings. So we have auto, HDR, beautify mode, smile, group, which is really nice so that it will kind of make sure that everyone is still smiling. Photo clear takes a few so you can get rid of some different stuff. Now we're just going to put it into auto. So it's pretty quick. So let's just exit auto mode. Let's do this. And there was the lock, then there's the photo. And photo. So it's fairly quick on taking the pictures. Now let's just take a look at some of these. Now there's good lighting in our studio. So this has turned out not so bad for a 13 megapixel camera. These are the ones that I just snapped. These are some ones from on the street. You can see that lighting there is definitely overexposed. Right, so when you zoom in, it's not all that clear. Let's just hit up a couple of these. So this is, apparently, I was at the bar. Selfie at night, not great. And this is a nighttime jazz shot. So, I mean, overall, the nighttime on this is not that good. But when you start to go to indoor, so this is an Indian restaurant that I went to. Irony. That was actually quite a good bottle of wine. So here's some food shots. This is a nice salad. So when you zoom in, it's not that clear. But overall, like, that's a pretty decent photo. Here's some outdoor shots in Taipei. It's okay. There's a selfie. Decent. I mean, outdoor lighting kind of has this bokeh feeling on auto. I mean, it's decent, but I'm not going to say, oh my God, this camera did so well. It took pictures, and it did them in a not completely disappointing way. So let's just do one more quick test. Let's do normal. And then let's put it onto HDR. So now taking a look at non-HDR and HDR. So non-HDR, you definitely have more shadows. The reds are pretty accurate. So here's this guy here. So that's pretty accurate. And then there we go. He's a little more pink, a little more bright, which is, I guess, the entire point of HDR. The shadows are a little more pulled out. So that's just, yeah, the HDR mode's not too bad. Because it could be, the swing could be a lot higher than what we're seeing here. Now, one strange thing about the Blade is the way that they've divided up the internal storage. So the operating system takes up 4.29 gigabytes of the total 16. Then you have your user ROM, and then there's an internal SD card. Now you notice that I didn't actually have an SD card inserted on this, so it's actually created partitions on the internal memory, which I don't think is necessary. Now, one area that definitely doesn't disappoint is battery life. I was able to get 35 hours with like 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, and in my regular usage, I was able to not plug in before I went to bed, and when I woke up, I had 4% left. Obviously, I should have plugged in, but the fact that it wasn't dead when I woke up is a testament to just what a beast this device actually is. So, do I recommend this guy? Well, it's $299, which makes it very affordable. It's got excellent battery life, a 64-bit SoC, an IR blaster if you're interested in using it to control your TV, which I definitely am, and, well, it's got the latest version of Android, so it is already running Android 5.0, which is a definite bonus, so you won't be waiting around for that. Now, what's the downside? Well, the camera. I think they could have done way better on the camera, and if you're looking at other devices in a similar price point, say like the Zenfone 2, which is actually cheaper, it comes with a slightly better camera. The other thing that I don't really like about this handset is the finish. I cannot tell you enough how much I dislike the feeling of this plastic. It feels really cheap, and the design is incredibly unoriginal. Also, the UI experience I thought could be a bit better. I mean, it does have a 64-bit SoC, but I think that a lot of that's gone into extending the battery life to make it run longer. So I found that apps were a bit laggy when opening, like let's say like when we open maps and scroll around, I thought I was waiting a little bit too long. So you're not getting the snappiest experience, even though a lot of people do say that the Qualcomm Snapdragon 615 processor does provide a very snappy experience. I agree with you, it does, but just not on this handset. So those are the compromises that you're going to have to make. It's not the quickest, it doesn't have the best camera, and it feels really, really cheap. But it's affordable and has amazing battery life. So that's what you have to make a decision on if you want to pick up this phone. So I'm Nicole Scott for Mobile Geeks. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so. And you can always find me on Twitter at Nicole_Scooter.